Assalamu alaikum, sister. Thank you for writing to our live session. As I understand your question, you're learning more about Islam. However, it's filling you with self-hate and depression and has left you with many negative feelings. You stated that you learned two things when it comes to women, which is belittling and degradation. And you fear that this may harm your faith more than ever. You do want to change how you feel about this, but when you hear the word Islam, you don't want to feel bad about yourself. You want to feel like you are human, and you want to be treated as a human as much as men are. You also discussed abuse, which is done against women, and you discussed a point about women who went to hell for being annoyed with their husbands, and so on and so forth. Sister, I just want to point out that there is equal punishment and equal rewards for both men and women, right? I mean, it says that in the Quran, Allah is not partial to men or women. And each sex has their specific qualities, their specific expectations, and as well as rewards and punishments, right? So what may seem as a punishment, which is harsh for women, there's, on the other hand, there's just as harsh punishment for men as well for disobedience or sinning or what have you. Allah is not partial. Allah loves both men and women. And sometimes when reading the Quran, we can misinterpret what it's stating if we don't have it in the right context, or we don't have somebody that we can talk to about what we're learning, right? So, like, one example is that a lot of men like to point out is in the Quran it says to beat your wife, right? Well, no, that's not what it means. Broken down, right? Long story short, broken down, and I do want you to research this and look into it. It just means that the man can just tap her with a feather. He can't hurt her, because Allah really, really hates oppression, and He hates women being abused. He hates violence against His people, and of course that includes women. And men are supposed to be the maintainers, both financially, emotionally, and spiritually, of the family. So what does it look like, that a man is harming his wife or belittling her or making her feel less than, right? That is not supposed to exist in Islam. Now, you may see it in different cultures, right? Because culture and Islam are different. But with an Islamic foundation, men and women are to treat each other with kindness, love, and mercy. And even more so in a marriage. Another thing I want to point out is that, inshallah, sister, if you could, study some of our prophets' wives, peace and blessings be upon him. They were strong women, they were beautiful women, they were beloved women, they were honored, they were held in high esteem, just as Muslim women are today. So I encourage you to read, about them, about their lives, and things they accomplished and how they were treated. And you pointed out that in paradise that men will get many wives, and a woman has to suppress her desires in this world, and only to find out that those desires are not fulfilled in paradise, unlike a man who gets the desires he suppresses. Sister, in paradise, we're told that everybody gets their deepest desires and wishes and dreams fulfilled. Allah promises us that, whatever your wishes and your dream and your definition of happiness and how you want to live, you will be able to live that in paradise. That's not, it's not going to be under a man's, treatment or wishes or blessings. There again, men and women will have the same in paradise in regard to what they wish for. Now, I'm sure that you don't want to wish for 3 or 4 husbands, sister, you can rest assured that any sacrifice that you make in Islam, any injustice that you feel that you may have suffered or will suffer, is not because of Islam or Allah. It is because of, the world and the way things are. And a lot of people don't know, like, the true Islam. A lot of people mix culture in with it. And, that's not right. I mean, culture is a beautiful thing. It's enriching. It's positive in many ways. But Islam and culture are two separate things, right? And I know that you stated that, these are the things that you're reading. However, I encourage you to read it in the context that it is written, number one. And number two, if you feel that you need help with understanding and getting, proper education, to please, inshallah, join up with, a sister's class or group that discusses these things. It can be so helpful. And it can shed so much light and help us to understand, different ayats that we may be confused about or feel that is belittling to women. Because in no way is Allah belittling to women, nor is Islam. In fact, in Islam, women are considered pearls. They're held in very high esteem, and they're to be honored and treated, with integrity and love and kindness. So, inshallah, sister, I'm sorry that you're feeling this way right now, and it's not uncommon. There's a lot of sisters who, when they're studying and learning, they come across these things that appear to be derogatory towards women. However, when it's in the ayats and it's in the different surahs, it's like, it's referring to specific incidences or specific situations, right? Sometimes. So we have to take that into context as well. But I think the main thing to keep in mind is that Allah does love you. He loves women. Islam has highly elevated women all throughout history, and there's many, many accounts and books written about this. And our Prophet's wives, peace and blessings be upon him, they're very fine examples to read and learn about how women were treated in Islam, should be treated, and are treated, inshallah. So please, don't let this deter you. Don't let this, make you feel like you don't want to study, or you feel bad about, Islam, or it makes you feel depressed. Inshallah, look at the other side, the other good stories and history and historical accounts of the women who represented Islam, and the women who represent Islam to this day. There's doctors and lawyers and advocates and all sorts of women who are very happy with the blessings and the status that Islam has bestowed upon them. And before closing, I just want to mention that I'm not sure where you're located, but the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he gave voting rights and rights to women, over a short period of time. And in comparison to our times now, like for instance, the United States, women just got voting rights. I think it was 1918 or 1920. So it is a very deep history, but it is one that is very empowering for women. So I encourage you to read more about Muslimas and women in Islam, and just know that Allah looks at men and women's hearts in equality and in love and in mercy. We wish you the best.